You ever tried to convince yourself you were straight? Like full TED Talk energy in the mirror. PowerPoint slides, laser pointer, the works. See, Mom, I can totally marry Beyonce if she'd just answer my DMs and possibly relocate to South Africa. Yeah, same. I never chose to like boys. It just auto-downloaded overnight. No consent box, no terms and conditions, just queer firmware installing itself while I slept. And at age 6, I already knew something was a little off script. No trauma montage, no fireworks, just that electric hum when a cute person in class asked to borrow my pencil. Which, by the way, they never returned. And that, my friends, was the first red flag and the start of a lifelong stationary trust issue. A friend once told me Grinder is the only connection I have, which is basically like saying your only way to breathe is through a straw. We deserve more than digital CPR. We deserve discovery. Messy, unfiltered, heart skipping discovery. So let me ask you, when did you first realize you didn't choose who you were attracted to? It's Wednesdays. Hello, 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 queers, allies, in-betweeners, and the quietly curious. Welcome back to yet another episode of Wednesdays with Woody, where we are interrupting your chronically chaotic Wednesday to bring you your weekly unfiltered dive into the mess and beauty of this thing we call life. If you haven't guessed it yet, I'm your host, Woody Woods, and I don't know what I'll be doing. We're just gonna shit talk and discuss whatever topic I've got squared up for us today. Gosh, how I have missed this. So, I took a break. I've been taking a lot of those. I took a break, but not a sabbatical. Just a self-diagnosed emotional software update because sometimes you need to uninstall fear, reinstall joy, and delete those 300 unread messages from your situationship that you've obviously been avoiding. And the world's been rather loud lately. Wars, algorithms, everyone is yelling, AI is going crazy or taking over our lives or whatever you really wanted to do. But here we're gonna breathe. We're gonna laugh. We're gonna think through some things. And thanks for coming back. I wish I could say I woke up one day and thought I'd choose fabulousness. But no. It was more like puberty burst through the door, uninvited, and humming a Lady Gaga song. And by the age of 6, I already knew I was different. I had way too many female friends, and that's not a marker. It's just, girls were easy to get along with. I loved gossip. My God, I loved gossip. Dodging dodgeball and soccer, and not understanding why that made boys so angry. And between the ages of 6 and 9, I found myself relentlessly bullied for being what everyone thought I was. I, on the other hand, I didn't even have the language for it yet. I don't even think South Africa at the time had legalized same-sex relationships and marriages. So I learned early on, if you don't fit the script, rewrite it on the fly. So by the time puberty hit, logic had left the building. There wasn't a conscious moment of realization, it just was. I liked boys. The wiring was there before I had the vocabulary. And when the world made that feel dangerous, like so many others before me, I learned to perform. I lowered my voice, deepened my walk, cut my wrist movements like I was editing myself in real time. If acting paid per trauma, I'd have a Netflix deal by now. Closets aren't homes. They're storage units for other people's comforts. And child, nobody should be a seasonal item. Let's kill the myth politely, shall we? Because sexuality isn't a buffet where one decides to skip the straight aisle and reach for the extra glitter. It's science, psychology, and maybe a sprinkle of cosmic mischief. Decades of research confirm there's no single gay gene, but rather a dazzling orchestra of genetics, paternal hormones, and timing. The American Psychological Association says it loud. People don't decide who they're drawn to, they discover it. And if we're going to unpack this myth, we need more than one punchline. The idea that we choose this life is absurd when you consider how early it shows up. How a 6-year-old boy in the late 90s could already feel the pull towards something he didn't yet have words for. You can't choose what you can't even name. I think the only grouping which has a choice are bisexuals. Okay, that's a joke, but also kind of a compliment to my bisexual brothers and sisters. Because even choice requires honesty. Most of us didn't choose. We were drafted into desire without a vote. Some of us fought it, bargained with it, prayed it away, and still woke up the same. That's not a choice. That's truth refusing to be muted. If being queer were a choice, someone would have picked better lighting in the men's bathroom, cheaper skincare, and parents who already knew what a coming out party was. But we didn't. We inherited this wiring, and then we learned to live in color. Here's the kicker. The myth of choice doesn't just hurt queer people. It comforts those who fear difference. It says, if it's a choice, I can fix it. But if it's a discovery, then they have to face their discomfort. And that's the real threat. The idea that queerness isn't rebellion, it's revelation. Now, let's address the culture war du jour. And it's been serving drama. Elon Musk's latest meltdown, cancelling Netflix for being too queer. Somewhere between algorithm rage and billionaire boredom, he decided trans joy was the fall of civilization. Apparently, a cartoon character with pronouns is now a threat to the GDP. Sweetheart, representation isn't propaganda. It's a mirror. No one, and I repeat, no one is trying to convert your children. We're not passing out pamphlets to the playground that say, "Welcome to the gay agenda, free tote bag on entry." We're just making sure the next generation grows up knowing they're allowed to exist. Visibility doesn't turn people gay. It just turns the lights on. Maybe what most people, or what homophobic people, are really afraid of isn't conversion, it's recognition. Because when you see us fully, laughing, thriving, being ordinary and extraordinary in equal measure, it dismantles the myth they've been selling us for centuries. It's easier to demonize what stays in the dark. And isn't that the irony? The louder they yell, stop shoving it down our throats, the more they reveal how threatened they are by authenticity. Netflix isn't corrupting anyone. It's just reflecting a world they'd rather pretend doesn't exist. But maybe this whole debate opens a deeper conversation about inclusivity itself. I was talking to a friend this weekend and she said something that stuck with me. We can't sterilize the room. Not every opinion needs to sound polished or data verified. People are messy. They carry their own weird baggage. Some of it is ugly. Some of it is outdated. Some of it is coated in fear. Maybe part of belonging means allowing space for that humanity too. She argued that true inclusivity isn't about muting dissent. It's about sitting with difference, even when that difference makes you cringe. That was hard for me, because my instinct is to push back on ignorance, to fact-check prejudice, to shut it down. But she reminded me that inclusion that only includes people who agree with us isn't inclusion. It's a trap. So here's where I landed. I don't have to like someone's bigotry to respect that they have the right to speak it. I can't control their evolution, only my reaction. I can still see their humanness, even when their worldview smells a little bit like a bag of manure. Because there are 8 billion people on this planet, all of us stumbling through this shared experiment. and not all of us are meant to be besties. As long as you're not trying to erase me, harm me, or legislate my existence away, then go ahead, live your truth, even if it makes no sense to me. We don't need to love each other's logic to share the same planet. We just need to stop confusing disagreement with danger. So maybe inclusivity isn't about everyone holding hands in a rainbow circle and singing Kumbaya. Maybe it's about letting each other exist, flaws, fears, contradictions and all, and trusting that authenticity, even uncomfortable authenticity, is still the only way forward. So if sexuality isn't a decision or a choice, what is it? Discovery? Freedom? Relief? The first time you admit what you've always known and the world doesn't end? It's a moment, not a manifesto. But discovery keeps unfolding. Every friendship that sees you, every community that holds you, every mirror that stops you feeling like a stranger. It's the relief of finding a language for the ache, the joy of finally naming what your body always knew. It's not just who you love, it's how you let love rewire what shame once built. Belonging grows from the same soil. It's when you realize there's nothing defective about your wiring, that queerness is not the error message but the update. Discovery is where you stop negotiating with yourself for permission to exist. Inclusivity starts there too. When we make space for one another's revelations without demanding they sound like ours. True inclusion isn't polishing everyone's differences into sameness. It's letting the contradictions sit in the same room without exploding. Here's some gentle homework. Let's take 10 minutes this week and ask ourselves, when did I first feel like this? Don't explain it, just remember. Then say it out loud. This wasn't a choice, it was recognition. That's how you come home to yourself. And by doing so, you leave the door open for others to follow. And please, let's keep our humor, because gay discovery stories aren't all trauma. They're also karaoke disasters, closet crashes, and the first time you saw your reflection and thought, oh, there you are. I once tried to date a girl in high school. She called me sweet. I said thanks. She said no, too sweet. And that's when I knew heterosexuality had declined my application. Maybe the real art isn't choosing your sexuality, it's listening to it. It's the quiet yes your heart whispers before your head catches up. You were never a phase, a project, or political statement. You were a plot twist, a necessary one. And if anyone ever tells you otherwise, remind them, you can't choose this, but you can celebrate it. And that, my loves, is the end of today's show. Thank you once again for your time and your ears and your energy. And as you journey into the rest of this week, love and light, keep your body open, keep your... No. Keep your mind open. Your body soft and your story honest. If this episode made you laugh, think, or text your therapist, share it. Also tag me at I am Woody Woods. We're not broken, we're just beautifully debugged. Until next time, keep breathing, keep belonging, and maybe give that pencil back. Ciao.